It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log, but when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I work all day to get your money to buy a thing, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log, but when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a dog, but when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I feel alright. You know I feel alright.
All right. Hey, everybody. Ryan here playing A Hard Day's Night. That one's fun to play and it's simple. That's probably one of the easier ones to play. The hardest thing about that is trying to impersonate Ringo's weird timekeeping, which I'll talk about in a sec. First, I want to say a couple things. The title of the song comes from Ringo, apparently. He said something. There's some quotes you can read about John and Paul both saying how Ringo just said a funny little thing and they worked through the night and he thought it was day and he was like, that was a hard day. Oh, I mean night. It was a or whatever. And they both in the quotes, John and Paul both say it's a Ringoism, which I think is awesome. And they describe it as Ringo said those things. He would say these funny things that didn't make a lot of sense, and they just came out like lyrical, like poetry, and they just were perfect. So this was one of those times where he said something goofy and it just fit perfectly. So good on you, Ringo. This tune, this is the first time a band or an artist had ever released a tune, and it was number one in the charts in the US and the UK simultaneously for several weeks at a time. That had never been done before. So in August of 1964, this was all the rage. This was just the best tune out there. So that's pretty cool, I think. One notable thing about this one, I think, there are no crashes as far as I can tell. Maybe there's something in there, but it's so little, it's so minimal that I can't even hear it. Like the last note, I listened over and over to the last note. I really don't think there's a crash there. I don't think there's a crash on the first note. I have read that there's some light symbol from, one of the experts. So I did a little bit, but you can't hear it at all. So there's no noticeable crashes, and I just played it without any. And it reminds me of several of the comments I've been getting from the viewers about how Ringo approached the drum set like a percussionist. Yeah, that's a great comment. I was listening to some classical music last night, actually, and it was very intense. There was all this stuff going on. It was some Tchaikovsky, and there was tons of buildup. All these like running notes on the strings. The brass were out there doing their thing. There was timpani even making it all intense. And then suddenly a crash happened. These two crashes. And it was so impactful that there was no crashing through that whole section. It was like a 2-minute section of music. And finally a crash happened. That made me think of Ringo about how he saves it. So that's a whole different animal, right? Tchaikovsky, classical music. I'm not saying I'm not comparing Ringo to Tchaikovsky or anything. I'm just saying that's a percussionist mindset, maybe, where you're just not, the percussionist is not back there going like this with the crash cymbals constantly every time there's something impactful in most music. So maybe Ringo heard that a lot and sort of adopted that mindset with how he approached the drum set. Pretty cool thought, I think. So the timekeeping technique. Because that's most of what's going on here, I took the opportunity to really kind of study up again on what he's doing. Because everybody out there, every drummer that wants to play Ringo tries to do it, right? Myself included, like, hey, yeah, I'll try to do this swishing thing. So a couple things I noticed this week when I went back and studied. There's an interesting thing going on with Ringo's wrist. He usually has his like thumb up, thumb on top when he's in this position, and he rolls his wrist over a little bit like this when he hits, so that the back of his hand is more up rather than his thumb when he hits the cymbals coming down. And that I hadn't really noticed before. I was kind of playing around with it, thinking, what's he doing? And to me, it's more natural. I was wondering, does he do this? I went back and looked at the video to see, is he doing this? Like twisting and then like having the back of his hand kind of come up, because I do that sometimes, especially when I'm over here on the right cymbal, whatever. I tend to have this more French style grip where I'm using my fingers and whatnot, and the back of my hand is way off to the side. But it's not that, it's the opposite. It's twisting this way. So he comes down like this, and then his elbow comes out when he does this. And then when he comes back, his hand twists back like this. And from, again, the Royal Variety Performance, I think it's called, where the Beatles are playing From Me to You, there's a shot that's really good. It's from an upper angle. It's like above, like the camera's over here coming down. You can just see that he's hitting the cymbals in this part right here like this when he comes down. And then when he comes back, it's over here. I like, someone will have to prove me wrong, because I am dead sure that he doesn't hit the cymbals in the same spot. It's like this. Which is so weird and wild. Like, if I was playing it this tune just like this, it'd be a lot easier. Pick one spot and stay there and like have less arm movement, because yeah, this tired out my shoulder. Had to change the position of my hi-hats. I had to like change my setup to try to get it more like how Ringo did it, so that it wasn't just killing my shoulder to do all this flapping around. Anyways, that's just some insight, I think, on what Ringo did. And this is a really dorky comment I'm going to make here, but when you when you start doing this and then you add in the arm movement, I gotta tell you, it almost makes your head go like this. So when Ringo plays, he's always going like this, right? And I've seen all the impersonators, and they start doing their thing, and they start to go like this. And I'm sorry, but most of the time it just looks so contrived, and it would be too. If I was here like trying to do that, it would just be like, hey, I'm trying to be Ringo. Look at my head wobble. But when you when you position like this and start using this technique and start doing this with your arm, it like makes your body have that motion. So it kind of almost validates to me that, yeah, this is how you do the Ringo, windshield wiper, buttering the bread, whatever you want to call it, technique, is to turn your wrist over this way when you come down and hit on the left side of the cymbals. And then when you come back, turn your wrist back up and hit on the right side of the cymbals. Which I was trying to do, but I know I have a long way to go to get it the way he did it. But I think it's good enough for what I'm doing. Last thing I'll say is just about the bongos and the cowbell. The bongos and the cowbell alternate. That's pretty cool. There's really kind of the verse section where John's singing, and then there's the part where Paul sings, which I don't know what you call it. The Beatles do this a lot, where they have what seems like a bridge, but they do it exactly 2 times. So it's not really a bridge per se. It's not a chorus either. I don't know what it is. The post verse. But the bongos are playing when John's singing, cowbell when Paul's singing. The cowbell is just straight up, really simple. They're not, Ringo's not hitting it hard. It's quite soft. And then the bongos, I went with my best guess on what to do. I'm really not sure. I listened to that more than anything, was how is this bongo pattern happening? And it's hard because it sounds like there's maybe switching drums right when, the kick and snare pattern's happening. So when you hear it, you hear low high like this. And you think maybe that's how the switching is going on the bongos, but I honestly don't think it is. So I played it the way I envision Ringo doing it, especially with setting up the bongos where the high drum's on your left. I think he starts with his left hand and then adds in the way I showed on the video. My best guess. I doubt it's right, but I really think that's as close as I could get, and yeah, try to do my best. Last thing I'll say about this tune is the reason we picked it. A Hard Day's Night fits perfectly because it has been so hard. It's 6 days a week, my job to support my family, and that's the most important thing to me. This is for fun on the side. I could really use some support though. I need to get more instruments to do more tunes. I need some congas. I need some different types of shakers. If you can find it in your heart to give a little bit to this project, I would really appreciate the generosity and the financial support. I'll put a link in the video description. Not asking everybody. I know not everybody is in a position to donate. When I see this kind of stuff, I want to donate and I'm just like, you know what? I can't afford it. So that's fine. Those of you who can, though, and that are in a position, if you would like to help the cause here, that's great. I will try to keep making these videos as long as I can, keep having my fun, and try to share something that's uplifting and useful to the community. Because this music's so awesome. I love this music. I love the Beatles music, and Ringo Starr is the man, so I want to do it every bit of justice that I can. It's such a pleasure to do and to share. So thanks so much for tuning in. I will catch you on the next one.